What's this rank shit? Are we doing ranked?
Hello.
Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Oh, just realized it's like 9 o'clock and I haven't ate anything today.
Oh man, I've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah.
Games, coffee, and weed.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. It sustains me.
Yeah, sometimes you're just like, I'm fine.
Yeah. Then I wake up in the morning and
And
I
you know
feel
what?
weak.
Weirdly, video games like changed everything for me. It even changed my diet because now eating is like it used to be. Like I used to be like addicted to food
Right.
when I wasn't partying, right? But
Yeah.
like bad food. But
Yeah.
then like now I'm like I don't have time
Well,
to
yeah, that's the
eat.
thing.
Like give me a bagel or an apple or something. Like I'm gonna get it over with quick, eat something small, and get the
Yeah.
fuck back doing stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. Mine is always like I get fat because I get into a relationship and like I don't want to hang out with
Yeah.
them all the time, but it turns into that. It's like, okay, well, if I'm getting bored of this tedium, all I want to do is just eat around you. Let's just eat food and talk about how good the food is.
That's basically yeah. That's
Yeah.
what couples do. Is they just fucking eat together.
Yeah. Food is just like the best way to like, I'm bored. What do you want to do? Well, what else
That's a
can you
really
do
good
other than
dinner.
eat?
Do
Yeah,
you want
exactly.
to go get epic snacks and snack on things?
Oh man, that dinner we had
Yeah.
yesterday was really good. Do you want to do that again?
Yeah.
Just
You want to go out this morning? Yeah.
yeah. Or is
I
the
know
one
we
I
just had breakfast, but do you want to swing by Subway?
I've done that before too. How many times they're just like, but you just ate. And I'm just like, look at me. I'm
I know.
literally twice your fucking size. Like,
I hit 290
really?
last year. Yeah,
Holy
290.
sh!
I'm actually way more heavier than people think.
Yeah.
Even like everyone would guess 250. Even right now, I'm like 260.
Wow, jeez. Yeah, I mean,
It's crazy.
I'm like a 220 guy, so, but yeah,
Yeah,
even like,
you're like because you're not a small guy. You're tall and you're a bigger guy. You have broad shoulders. You're kind of like the size, like the weight people always guessed. I
yeah,
must carry it a little better because I couldn't believe I was 290 when I tell them, and I fucking
fair.
was.
Yeah. Oh, damn, man.
Ain't nobody gonna lie about that.
What are you down to now? You said about 250?
I don't know.
Yeah, true.
I haven't weighed myself since I lost all this weight, but I'll tell you, all of my clothes are look ridiculous on me.
Yeah. Look like your dad's
Crazy.
shirt, eh?
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange. It's strange because it's been so long.
Yeah, true.
Like I gained weight from like I doubled when you knew me in high school in
Yeah.
grade 12. I was 175 pounds,
Yeah. I was in the same ballpark then too. Yeah.
and 10 years later, I was
Yeah.
275 pounds. I
Damn.
gained a human being.
Well, I remember that one day. Do you remember John Curry?
Yep,
Yeah, I hope that
kind
guy
of.
doesn't sue me or anything. But yeah, I remember like in Mr. Fisher's class, we did like the whole the body mass index thing. And you
Oh yeah,
hold on to
yeah.
two highs of that. It told you what your fat percentage was. And his was like 51%. And like, Jesus,
I
like,
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like your human weight weighs the exact same amount as your fat weight. And
Yeah.
and then like
That's wild, right? It's a whole nother
yeah,
you in that.
exactly. I'm like, you are two people, and you have to and like you have one set of muscles in your leg carrying two people,
I bet you I
and
was close to
yeah,
50% because I was unnaturally large. I'm just kind of a big guy, but I wasn't. It was just due to lifestyle, being
yeah.
overweight, right?
Right,
Otherwise, if I would have stayed the same as I was like at 15 actively, I would have been looked like more like a NHL player size, like
right.
your like size, like I don't know how tall you're, right? Like 6 foot, 6'2", like 220.
Yeah, that's me.
Probably
Yeah,
not in shape, but not like 290, and
yeah.
you know,
Well,
driving
like,
around with fucking 2 ounces of coke in my van.
well, no, I don't. Never had too much of that. I mean,
Oh, that's crazy,
yeah. I mean, I started dating this girl, and like I did the whole like I refused to do anything other than marijuana for the longest time. I even stupidest fucking
man.
thing.
Love
I
it.
went to fucking art school, and I quit marijuana the first year I went to art school. I'm like, I'm gonna take this seriously. And then one friend is like, "What the fuck are you doing? You go to art school you quit weed to focus on art?"
It
I'm
makes
like,
sense that it didn't work out because that's stupid.
yeah, and that's why I switched to advertising. That's why I graduated in
Yeah.
advertising.
Then I
Um,
graduated as an accountant.
yeah,
Totally weird.
yeah. I was doing art and I ended up in business. I don't know why. But then just like a few years later, Buddy's like, hey, do you want like at one of my I hosted all the parties in Oakville during that time, and Buddy's like, hey man, you want to smoke a joint? I'm like, nah, I'm good, I'm good. And then he's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Just smoke a joint. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I've been doing good. I owe it to myself. I had the greatest goddamn night, and I remember looking at all my friends like, why do I smoke weed every goddamn day?
I don't remember the time I was, because I've always smoked weed, but I noticed the harder I was a partier, the less weed I smoked.
Right.
And
Wait.
because my use of coke got so insane,
Yeah, yeah.
like it was crazier than people know because my favorite thing to do was do it alone.
Right. Right.
And people saw me do it. When they saw me do it, they're like even drug dealers would leave my house and be like, "Why do you do it like that? Like that's so dangerous." And like I did it worse than that when I was by myself. Like it
Right.
was totally out of control. I forget
What,
the
just doing
point
like
of it.
California's older or something?
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh
Like
man.
if you think you're Hollywood, Hollywood. I did a whole gram once in just one go, sitting on my table, and I bought another one off of them.
Oh, Hollywood, not California. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Damn.
But yeah, same thing. But like
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
like that's a lot.
Yeah. Look, I just well that's the thing. I started dating this girl and she's telling me like, oh yeah, well, my one buddy here, he's like he's a groupie. He works for all the bands and he gets all their shit for them. And I just remember like
Yeah.
sitting down one day, he's like behind the kitchen counter and he pulls out a knife and he's got like three bags. He's like, what do you feel like tonight? I'm like, I don't fucking know, man. It's New Year's Eve. Just whatever's gonna make me like blend with everybody else fucking here. And he's like, all right, cool. No, he reaches in and he gives me like this one big chunk, and he's like, okay, this here, that's ecstasy. Just go ahead and pop that into your glass
Oh,
right
he gave
now
you
and
a
chug
He's
that.
an idiot. He's
And
an
then
idiot. You said you wanted to blend in, not blend into the furniture.
well, no. But that's the thing. That was the blending, and everyone was doing E, and like the Coke just
Oh,
kind of
okay, that's
came
good then.
later. And he's
That's
like,
good
okay,
then.
and then he goes into another bag and he pulls out like a little, like a fraction of it, like, like two little specks of something on it. And he's like, and then take a little of that as well. I'm like, what's that? He's like, that's more pure ecstasy. That's M right there. That's like some heavy, like that's some
Oh,
like
yeah,
really,
nice,
really
nice.
fucking solid M. And
Yeah,
then
so like the
and then he's
last
like,
time I
yeah,
partied,
yeah,
after
yeah.
3 days, I got home. I snorted $160 worth, which was actually $200 worth of
Yeah.
MDMA in an hour standing at my dresser.
Whew,
$200. I'm not even kidding. I mean, like
yeah, yeah.
stacks and crystals and diamonds of it, just
God
crushing
damn.
it and smashing it. That's after 3 days of crack and coke. It was fucking crazy.
Oh man, yeah,
I have
yeah,
no idea how I survived that. And then
yeah,
the the hangover come down because
yeah,
I've done
yeah,
that before.
yeah,
Not in
yeah.
that extreme level.
Right, right, right.
Was when I saw that YouTube video that like gave me an epiphany, and then I went sober.
Oh,
Fuck
true.
crazy. But what I was saying was I don't remember the point where I was like, "This weed is the trick." I don't remember
Right.
that point because I started smoking more and more, and then all of a sudden I purposely was going to buy. I said, "Fuck it! I'm buying the best pot, and I'm buying shatter, and I'm putting gobs of shatter on it, and I'm comatose with myself until I don't want to go out."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
After weeks and weeks, and I did it for. That's how I got good at Warzone.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
but it didn't work. But I was just trying to recall, like you're talking about, you're not always chronic, because I've always smoked weed, but at times where it's like 3 times a week, and I do it at night, and then
Right.
I have times like now where I'll do a gram of shatter in a fucking day.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, no. Well,
Weed
we
is
made.
life, though.
Yeah, it really
Weed
is.
is life.
And mine was too. Like, there's a point where, like, my one of my exes, I'm just like, you know what? I think I might give weed like a little break. I'll give it a little bit of a break. And she's like, that sounds great. I support that. And then like a week later, both my parents got hit by a fucking drugged out driver. And
What?
yeah, yeah, my parents about 5, 6 years ago. I came back home to visit them. Like there's like a Trenton Air Force thing that I was gonna do an air show. I'm at my brother's place in Trenton. I'm there for like half an hour, and this random dude shows up to the door. He's like, "Yo, is this Rob and Dave?" I'm like, "I'm Dan." He's like, "Yeah, sorry, Rob and Dan. Your parents just got into
Yeah.
a bad accident. You need to go to Kingston
Oh
Hospital
fuck.
right away." I'm like, what the fuck? And like, the long and the short of it, found out that the other guy, we don't know all the details, but from what we understand from his lawyer and like the fuckery with his lawyer, I guess
Yeah.
a relative of his, like a son-in-law, was like drug dealing, like big heavy duty shit too. And
Yeah.
the father-in-law was like the mule. And I guess I don't know
Yeah.
if they did something, took something, but he was muling for them in the
Ah, shit.
son-in-law's car and just went into my parents' lane.
I'll
Like
tell
it,
you something about those drug dealers, and I know them.
Yeah,
I know
yeah, yeah.
some of them, and I know how they're like the scene they come from, and how grimy and trashy they are.
Oh man.
And I've also become friends with them, and then partied with them for days on end. And those
Yeah,
guys were fucked.
yeah,
They were
yeah.
doing the drugs they were selling. They
Right.
had it on them. They all have records.
Yeah.
They were probably smoking crack if they're dealing hard drugs and stuff. Like
Right.
I used to drive around with Chicky Ricky all the time, and we'd be smoking like just tons of stuff. Like
Right.
I'm
Right.
not
Right.
streaming, so I can
Well,
say
like,
whatever. But
okay, I'm
my
streaming, but
buddy Eric has. Oh, are you?
yeah,
Anyways, just lock.
yeah. My people don't know your people, but yeah.
But those like those guys were fucked up on
Yeah.
drugs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's even a few times back in Calvary, or I even with just Dave, and being like, "Yeah, I'm doing coke now." I'm like, "Dude, stop, don't."
Yeah, that
And like
was
the weirdest
that
part
was a
about
lot
that.
of me and Brad
Yeah,
and Jane and Dave and Colin found this
yeah,
fucking coke dealer
right.
that we used to go to, and that's when my coke addiction started. I tried it at 15, 16 years old, a couple parties, but then at 20,
Yeah,
we started doing it in Camelford every weekend, and we got hooked.
yeah. Well, I mean, I
All of
remember
us, all
Dave kind of
five of
telling
us,
me.
six of us.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man, we were even like Nick Woke. Some of us, that's all we
Oh,
fucking did every week, and it turned into like, oh, well, I got $40, I got $40, and we
God.
didn't need a lot then. It was
Right,
like you
right.
only needed like $20 each, and we could put together
Oh,
and have some like,
dude.
but
I'm
but it
speaking.
was like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
started the whole.
Well, here's a crazy one for you, man. You're talking about how you guys started low. One of the girls, like when I moved into Toronto, I was dating this girl that was managing a hotel there. And I won't say which one, but uh, this one guy, he was the investor. And so he was like a multimillionaire. I believe he was a lawyer. And he got addicted to that. He got like heavy into that shit. And I can't remember what it is, but like he spent like, by their projection, at least $500,000 of coke in a year from just like hosting
Yeah, that's
parties, all his
so
friends coming.
doable. If you have
Yeah.
money,
Oh,
that is so fucking doable.
and
I
I'm
don't know about five
lowballing it
hundred
when
thousand
no,
because
I'm
like Motley
lowballing it.
Crue's year record was 75,000, and that's a whole band.
Right, right, right.
But like 50,000 easily.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I could go out. I could do 1,000. I could do 1,000. Give me
yeah,
$1,000 in a day, and 24 hours. I can go spend it on coke. Give
yeah.
a few to your friends. Go to a party. You run out. You just keep going
Oh yeah, no, this guy
easily.
would have like 20 grand weekends.
Any,
Like he would like
yeah,
buy the club, buy the booze, buy all the drugs just because he wanted like that friend. And eventually like
yeah. Once
what
you get into that level, you're really screwed because
oh
if you're
man, he
buying
was
for parties, you're screwed.
from what I
You're
understand,
talking
like
thousands.
wife, kids, everything gone. He lost his house. He had to move into the hotel, and he was there for about 4 to 6 months, and they had to kick him out of the hotel. He lost fucking everything within a year. And this guy
Yeah,
just
that's
he's
crazy.
he's a millionaire investor, and he just spent it all on drugs and just like having people like buying friends that clear like when you're
Oh
doing
yeah.
like 20 grand weekends. I'm not there to be your friend. I'm there for the 20 grand worth of coke kicking around, right?
Well, when
So
you're a guy with money and you go to a social circle and you know a couple guys, but you're kind of nervous and you have money
yeah,
and everyone parties hard, right? And you have
yeah,
money and you want to get in with them and you're either shy or they don't like you or something.
yeah,
I'm telling you right now, I know drugs really well. It's so easy to just
yeah,
go, oh, well, guess what, guys? I went and bought a fucking half of Coke, throw it on the table. You're
yeah,
going to officially have 15 of the best friends you've ever fucking had for the
yeah,
rest of that night, and a whole bunch of them are going to cling on for months. That
yeah.
happens on a small scale.
Right,
When
right,
you
right.
when I show up to a party and I buy two 8 balls and everyone's doing half grams,
Yeah,
all of a sudden I've got a whole bunch of friends all
yeah,
weekend.
yeah, yeah,
Same
man.
thing, just in like the Hollywood version.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
cracking for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. Like this guy, like eventually it was expected of him to drop like 20 grand a weekend. Like he was just that
Yeah, that's why he
guy.
lost all his money.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's
yeah,
his thing.
yeah.
Now he's not cool as yeah. I
And then
feel
he's
sorry
like,
for that guy, even though I don't know who it is.
well, yeah, for sure. And then he turns around and he goes to all of his friends like, "Yo, can you help me out?" And they're like, "Nah, we're good." So,
No, you abandoned him a long time ago to buy Coke for new friends.
yep, yep, yep.
I already know his whole story.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, have I told you this one already?
It's just to scale. It's just to scale.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the same shit.
Oh
I
man,
was really bad because I felt like a ringleader, and a lot of people that I noticed didn't really do it a lot
right,
would all of a sudden be frequenting a place I'm frequenting, a social group. And
right,
I'm intellectual enough to see these things. I
right.
can't help it because I'm the one dying of addiction, so I get to see it.
Gotcha.
Like my
Yeah,
friend going from like once a month he'd do a gram of the bar to buying that fucking 8 ball every 3 days,
right, right. Well, I mean,
like
and
and doing it
because like
constant every day.
well, that's the thing. Like the ex that I was with, the one
That
that
was
got me to dabble with the shit. Even her line was like, "I never want to influence someone to do drugs, but if you want to, like, I will walk you through it."
that's the tough part is is it's like that. The first person who did it to me was an ex-girlfriend's dad,
Right.
and I obviously that guy's struggling with some shit.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
him well enough that I know he's not out there just being like, "Want some coke, kids? Want some coke, kids?" Like,
Yeah.
I could blame him for that
Mhm.
line that I could remember so well.
Right.
But like, obviously, he was probably fucked up. You're looking at a 50-year-old who's in at a party with fucking 20-year-olds and he's doing coke trying to show off.
Yeah, still pissed off he's not going
Like,
to Grateful Dead concerts.
how sick is he in
Oh yeah.
other respects?
Oh yeah, for
So
sure. I
it's
even
hard to
remember just
blame
like
people.
going to like Greenlee parties, like Derek's house there, like in the back fields there. And I can't remember what the dude's name was, but like there's these two dudes showed up with somebody, and I'm just like, fuck this, man. Is this what's going down with Campbellford? It's just like the only
Yes,
way you're capable of having
for me,
fun.
those parties were where that didn't happen. I remember when I
Yeah,
stopped hanging around certain people and only hung around with the people that wanted to do coke with me on the weekend, which is Brad, Dave,
right, right. I
those
remember
people.
you and I found Colin's porn stash on his computer, and we were just
Did
like,
we?
yeah, and we just found the folder, and you and I spent like 20 minutes, like, and he's like, and I think he just broke both of his legs from trying to climb up
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
pet,
Oh, you were
yeah,
there more
yeah.
than I remember.
Oh man, I was there for like 2 days. It was like the summer break that I was off of college. I came back the first year from college on summer,
I
and
didn't do anything.
I was working at
I
the
wasted
subway
10
then.
years.
Oh,
I
you
wasted
know,
so much time.
as soon as I got out of school, man, I kid you not, from like I'd say like 22 until like nowish, I'm kind of like, fuck, what did I do for the last 13 years? I did it,
I mean, I
but
was
like,
gigging.
uh,
I thought I was going to be a fucking country star. I had a fucking country band that played on the weekends,
right, right,
and I fucking partied in between. And
yeah,
we signed a record deal with a fucking record label from like West Hollywood when I was 18. And
yeah,
then nothing happened. It was a development deal, and they wanted us to be the male Dixie Chicks, me and my brother.
right,
And then
right,
nothing happened because the lady died of cancer, and it fell apart. And then we were just doing gigs, and then I
yeah,
started partying.
right, right.
Free, and
Oh yeah.
bars are toxic. Bars are toxic.
I mean,
Gross. Every single pub and bar and everything has some sort of version and life it's ruined. Some toxic fucking shit.
oh, absolutely, yeah,
Based in like even my close friends that have bars, I
yeah,
find their posts to be gross when they're
yeah,
like, come drink your sorrows away Sunday fun day. Free
yeah.
50 shots.
Well, I mean,
I'm like,
I was a
fuck
bar manager for
man.
the longest time. I was a bar manager in
Yeah.
Toronto. Yeah, and like how
Oh
many people would come
nice.
up to me like, "Yo, what do you got for me?" Like, you got something for me, and I'd have to tell them, like, guys, I'm not that kind of bartender. You want a
Yeah.
beer? I'll sneak you a shot every now and then, no problem. But
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here for the booze and the conversation. But like all these guys lined up at the bar here, I'm the therapist. I'm recuperating these guys. I'm
Yeah.
not making it worse. And man, I had some good years bartending for sure. But
Yeah, 100%.
I was the clean
I get that they
bartender,
have to
so
promo their business and that it's legal and stuff, but
yeah.
it's definitely a subjective point of view from I gotta do my bong here, but subjective point of view from like my perspective of addiction is I now am able to see some of the root causes of
True.
like the toxic negative shit
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like, well, there's somebody that shouldn't fucking be going to drink
Right.
that night that
Yeah,
should
yeah.
make another decision that
Right.
just made a decision because of your ad,
Right,
and I
right,
don't
right.
like that,
Right.
but I
Yeah.
can't stop it
Yeah, for sure.
because the
Well,
same thing happens with McDonald's
right.
to a certain extent.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, see, I had this big thing where I'm gonna say about 3 or 4 years ago, the ex of mine started talking to me about spirituality, and I always loved psychology, but spirituality always just seemed like voodoo to me, just like nonsense, like
Yeah,
emotional
psychology
nonsense.
is pseudo enough.
Yeah. So, but I
It's like
understood.
abstract enough.
Because I always wanted to know psychology because especially throughout high school, I was desperate to understand how to like make people laugh or how to get people to like me or how to like blend in with people and how to. So I researched the fuck out of psychology. And so
Yeah,
when she's talking to me about spirituality, I'm like, no, that's just like galactic voodoo. And then I started like
yeah,
looking into it some more. And man, like there is like all of these things in my life that I'm just kind of like, man, like going days on end, going like I feel like no fucking purpose. I feel like I'm just fucking wasting away doing fuck all. What am I doing with my
yeah,
life, kind of thing. When I started like looking into more like spirituality things, it's like okay, like spirituality isn't like magic's going to help you or if you dream it's going to happen. It's just kind of
Here's
like
my problem with it though: is everyone involved with it
yeah,
makes it that. So
yes,
like you have to do it on your own. You see,
oh
like you're
exactly.
doing, like you're
Well,
like you
yeah,
got away from the spiritual person so
yeah,
you
yeah.
can fucking be spiritual.
Well, and that's why I kind of call it like
Right? Yeah.
spirituality is just your own personal religion. If religion isn't a
And
complete
yeah.
shit show,
And I've always
and
said that anyone who says they're not spiritual is full of shit. Full of
yeah,
shit. They're human, they're
yeah.
biological, and they're in the shower going, yeah, but I wonder.
Well,
I
and that's the thing.
guarantee
Like,
they're so full of shit.
I love when people have like spiritual pursuits, like things that they're interested in. But when someone
Yeah.
says, "I figured out spirituality" or "I figured out meditation," like, no, you didn't. If you
Any
figured it
sort of
out,
assumption of
yeah,
a
exactly.
fact is insane
It's
to do with that because you're
it's
making
not
shit up.
exactly. It's not solving a puzzle. It's just like
Yeah,
enjoying the ride.
you're making stuff up inherently, so you
Yeah.
need to fucking like have a base or something. I don't know if that makes sense, but it
Yeah.
does.
Well, no,
It
it's
needs to
just
not just be like, I figured it out.
yeah,
This is how it is.
yeah. Oh, and that's like
No, it's
that's
subjective, not objective, you assholes.
yeah. The second you say you figure, and it's the same thing like with religion. I love that one line from the movie
The second
Dogma.
you said, you're right to say it. The second you say you figured
Yeah.
it out, you're as far away from figuring it out as you've been so
Yeah.
far.
And I don't know the quote perfectly, but like Chris Rock in Dogma, him being like the 13th Black Apostle,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, I
talking
love that
about
movie.
it. And the line I love is that like, no religion's ever got it right because like you can't have rules. People can't be governed by rules. Jesus had ideas. I'm not religious, by the way. I
Yeah,
just love
yeah,
this
yeah.
quote. Like Jesus had ideas, and the
Yeah.
moment you make it dogma is the moment every religion has done it wrong. Is like you
Yeah,
need to inspire the
100%.
people and guide them, not order them to follow a straight line kind of thing.
No, because that's when it's just made up for someone else's purpose and
Yeah.
perpetuates someone else's like gain.
Yeah, well, exactly.
That's
It's
all that
easier.
is. It's just a box. That's just a boxed commercial.
Yeah. So
That's
I
all that
mean,
is for somebody.
yeah. So I'm not like full blown spirituality, but like it does make me like okay, think better thought, think happier thoughts, and you'll have a better life if you just think better. I'll do like yoga
Yeah,
and
like I'm the
meditation now.
same. I used to be
Yeah,
so negative, bro.
yeah,
Like all negative all the way. And I
yeah,
used to say I'm not negative. I'm realistic.
mm,
And I was actually just incorrect. I
yeah,
wasn't incorrect. Some of the times I was right.
yeah, yeah,
Sure, but when looking back on that person, I'm like, good for you, dipshit. You were
yeah.
right that it sucked.
Well, exactly.
Great. But all the times that it was good, you
What is
missed it.
right? Yeah, what does being right
All the
have to
times that it
help you?
was, all the times that it ended up good, I missed it because I was
True.
assuming it was going to be shit. So I wasn't there for the good.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
was never there for any good. I created all the bad.
yeah. Well, and that
Of
was my
course,
thing.
some of it was going to be there anyways, but I gave no chance for good.
Right. Well, mine was
So everywhere where there would have been good shit, it was bad.
yeah, because mine was indifference. Mine was like I can take it or leave it. I know it's good for me, or I know I like it, and if you don't like it, I don't give a fuck about your opinion. And so mine was just straight up
Yeah.
indifference, and then that indifference just turned into just bitter jadedness, where it's just like
Yeah, me too. Me too, dude.
it's
Same.
yeah, it went from like I'm not worried about anything to I don't give a shit about anything. So
Yeah, yeah, same.
I had to
Same.
bring that one back.
Straight up.
Yeah,
Dude, that's so dead on. Went right through my whole 10 years of addiction. I went from it was almost like 6 years of, because it was more than 10 years, but like first half was that. Then the second half was I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
Totally, that was so accurate.
Oh man.
That you explained both eras of my addiction.
Oh, man, we've seen
It
that
was just
shit.
like, what was the first one again? It was, what'd you say? I forget. It's like, I don't forget. The second is I don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
before it was like, I'm not worried about it.
I'm not. Yeah,
It'll
yeah.
be okay. I'm
It
not
goes
worried
from like
about it.
yeah, it goes from not worrying about it to not giving a shit about it.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
accurate.
And then and marijuana was good for that.
Because you realize that you should have been worried about it. You fucked
Right.
up.
Well, and see, that's my
So
thing
then
too.
you
Is
can't. Now you gotta not give a shit.
'Cause-
Well, I can't give a shit because I missed the train.
like, I love shrooms too. Shrooms my big one. That like yeah, like I need to have like that spiritual weekend, or I need to get my shit together. I need to figure out what my priorities are. That's why I love shrooms for that.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a science geek on the shrooms thing, so it's like I agree with you. I think that's awesome for you.
Yeah,
Subjectively, for me, I've done them and I don't want to go back to it. My only thought was if during my sobriety at the start, I thought maybe once I was like a year sober, I'd have some mental shit wrong with me, and I would maybe realize I have medical depression or something,
right.
and then I would need to microdose or something because I've done shrooms so many times and abused them so many times, I just can't.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. See,
It's
I'm like
not that
a
much different than popping ecstasy to me, just because of how I've used it.
right. Well, I mean,
Subjective, from my experience.
for some reason, for me, like when I go to smoke weed, I'm like, let's fucking do this. There's like a party in my head. But whenever I'm doing shrooms, there's a little bit more reverence there, where it's just kind of like my body's
Yeah,
nervous
see,
all day
that's
going into it,
yeah.
and because of
That's how
that,
you.
yeah, I
Sorry,
control
keep
it.
going.
Yeah, and so I end up doing it, say maybe like 3 or 4 times a year. But holy fuck, do I make
Mhm.
it count? And that's what I like. When I first started doing weed, I had a bunch of friends saying like, you don't need to. But I'm saying like, guys, I'm doing weed only purely for function. I'm doing weed so I can my life can be better. But that like slowly just bled into I'm just doing weed because my life just feels better. So I'm in that permanent state.
Yeah.
But I never
They
got
most
there
of
with
them
shrooms.
don't know what the fuck they're talking about either because I've been chronic so many times that I know that
Hmm.
overdoing the weed
Yeah.
for sobriety and which helped for many things
Hmm.
just ended up is slowly now just leveling out. It's maturing my weed use.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like you were saying, the mushrooms are normal and the weed's like more like let's party and smoke weed. So because I grew up with my dad growing below, like when I was 3 years old, my dad had a grow room like under my ass in the trailer or the basement
Oh,
or the basement
true.
of the trailer. Like
Right.
weed, like I knew that my dad smoked pot and
Right.
that it was kind of like beer, but
Yeah.
more like a cigarette when I was 4.
Yeah.
Like I knew my dad was getting stoned on something he smoked in his face,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
was my uncles that did it, my grandpa, and they all grew it, and it
Yeah. Right.
was like, and most of my uncles were sober
Right.
and smoked pot instead of their bad like 20s and 30s. So it was
Yeah.
like, it was almost like I want to say brainwashed, but it's like I was given the perspective that it's fucking totally
Well,
normal to just
yeah.
wake up and roll a joint and smoke a joint. That
Based on
there's
like,
nothing abnormal about that. It's
yeah.
actually abnormal to not do that.
Well, that's the thing. Based on like based on the numbers that they know from sociology. Now, this is like a broad blanket across the board, but you are 70% likely to acquire your parents' bad behaviors.
Yeah, 100%,
You
100%.
yeah, people lean into the bad behaviors more so than the good behaviors. So if you see
And
him
because
smoking
I've
weed,
gone not smoking weed and gone, I realize that it's not the behavior anymore so much. It's the perspective of how I view marijuana use.
right,
I don't clump it in with narcotics.
right,
I, I,
yeah, no,
I
definitely
put
not.
I put alcohol up with heroin and cocaine and
Yeah,
MDMA and all those horrible
yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah.
But pot, just because of the way I grew up around, I just don't even.
Well, I mean,
I
like,
just don't classify it like that at
yeah,
all whatsoever.
it's a fucking
Because
plant,
all
man.
I
Like, how bad can it
yeah,
be
and
when
all
like,
I ever did from
yeah,
as a kid was watch people get positive results from it.
right.
My dad got sober on pot. My uncle got sober on pot. My one uncle quit smoking pot instead. You know,
Now, how
so
about
like
this? Do you like
10
edibles?
years supposed to be like, I guess I shouldn't smoke pot because this random jock that screamed in my gym told me so. Although it saved my dad's life.
Right.
Like, how
Yeah,
come I couldn't stand up in grade 8 and be like, marijuana saved my dad's life?
yeah. Well, I mean,
What's
at that
say?
point, you're still figuring it all right out, right? Like, you don't know what the fuck's
Yeah,
going on at that stage. So, and that it
so
was
it's not.
still, and okay. So the two big questions I kind of have from that are A, do you like edibles? And B, I'm stoned. I forgot the B is, but yeah, did you like edibles?
Try to smoke a ball. Don't make me laugh.
Fuck. Marijuana makes me forget stuff. Who knew?
B.
What
I
was
don't
B?
remember what B is. You
Yeah, I
like
don't know. But
A.
A,
Do you like edibles? B. I don't remember what B is. So do you like
I thought you put edibles.
edibles?
So B is also, do you like edibles?
Yes, I do.
Okay. See, that's the thing.
Not a
I
lot. No.
I don't like edibles,
I don't like them
and
that much either, to be honest with you.
yeah, I like. I think
They
it's
freak
more
me
about
out,
now the
man.
process of smoking. I think I just like that smoking, even like vaping. I don't mind vaping, but I
I
like
love the habit of the pot too.
yeah. But like eating the
From
chocolate,
a
I don't feel like I'm
teenager.
doing anything.
Hold on, give me a diet. Hey, man, sorry, man.
Oh, good.
I have.
That one hit. You feel that one in your brain, eh?
Yeah.
Brain
The
and forehead.
shatter. makes you sweat and it takes your breath away a little bit.
That's fucking awesome.
It's like it immediately puts a coat of sweat over your whole body for 10 minutes. But it's just because I smoke it like I do, I guess.
Oh yeah. Fuck, I forgot B already. I can't remember shit, man. It's gone. Oh,
He was dealing.
how much did the fact that weed was illegal during this process as well kind of fuck with things? Because now anyone who smokes weed is just the happiest, nicest people ever. But back when I was a child, whenever I saw people that were like, weed smokers, it was like that underground back alley kind of world where it was still kind of greasy.
They don't know what the.
Yeah.
When I was 9, my dad would have been. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Well,
That's what I was taught. They're like, they don't know what they're talking about. They're weird.
yeah. Were you ever intimidated
I
by
was
any?
taught at a young age that people ignored their problems also a lot.
Oh yeah.
So I knew that. So I knew
Right.
that like a lot of people, like my dad's and some of my family, they weren't the smartest. Like I'm surprised I can read,
Right.
but I'm by far the most intellectual in the family, just based on just speaking to them. You would agree if you spoke to them.
Okay. Good.
You know what I mean? Like generational gaps.
Right, for sure.
And a lot of them are from like Havelock and North of Havelock. But anyways, what was I talking about?
I have and more intellectual than your family. And
Oh,
how they
like
feel.
if you had a problem that was happening every day, you didn't feel good or in anything,
Yeah.
and it wasn't medical.
Right.
You were waking up every day, and you had this problem when you woke up every day.
Right.
Like our perspective is, are you smoking pot?
Mhm.
And if your answer is no, then why the fuck have you tried anything else? Other
Right.
than, you know what I mean? That's how we view pot, is that there's people that smoke it and don't need to, which is also awesome. But there's people, I do believe there's people that don't, a lot that don't,
Yeah.
and their life would change if they did.
Yeah. I mean,
So many people
Yeah.
that just because of based on weird perceptions of incorrect data they've been given their whole life about something,
right.
they don't medicate themselves. Millions.
Well, and
They
that's
should
the thing.
wake up and smoke a joint.
I've spent the last 5 or 6 years, having like these little sit-down conversations with my mom, explaining to her why I smoke weed, the benefits of it, and why she should smoke weed. And once her and my dad got
Yeah.
hit got in that car accident, I'm like, you guys need to like take a step back and fucking listen to me now, because like you guys
Yeah.
have all this pain. My mom has PTSD. She can't get into a car
Yeah.
because she's just terrified. And like, weed will sort you the fuck out, and if it doesn't,
Oh my God,
let me
yeah.
sneak you a little capsule of psilocybin one
It's really
day.
frustrating because most of their like stepping back or being like, well, I don't know, but it's like based on just the stupidest, incorrect information they were given by a garbage curriculum by a bunch of older, even stupider
Oh yeah.
people.
Well, I mean, like we're like the
I'm a
probably
huge person for like every 20 years, if you go back, people get fucking stupider and stupider until we're so stupid. I can't believe it.
yeah.
It's like my big thing. I'm so mad about like everyone over 50 years old, Dan. Like I don't mean everybody. There's scholars and things, but
Yeah.
some of the smart people are stupid.
Well, I mean, look
They're
at the
lost, dude. Anybody who's irrelevant against the internet and they're just like, it's a phase, it's gonna go. It's like you're literally an irrelevant
internet's a
human being.
phase. Yeah.
You're
Well,
an irrelevant human being.
Well, look at technology though. How look at the spikes in technology over the last
I
100
can't
years.
even believe how fucking stupid people are sometimes, and I mean that in the worst way. I mean,
Well,
so like
yeah.
stupid in the way that they're like living in. They're so ignorant that their perception is like they live in another universe.
Well,
To people who actually have empathy and
Yeah.
have correct knowledge and actually have the ability to digest information.
oh, for sure. Well, I mean, like
They need to admit that they're stupid and be like, maybe I won't talk about biology because I'm a moron.
yeah. Don't bring that shit over here. But the one that gets
You know
me
what I
too
mean?
is
Like,
like,
maybe I won't sign into Facebook and talk about molecules and
my God.
vaccines because I'm fucking Sandra from Havelock.
if you're having
Can
an
I not
argument
know
over,
who I am?
yeah, if you're having an argument or an intellectual discussion over Facebook, you've already lost. So,
I've seen threads of like professional people, but they're in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and there's like 40 of them, and they're all talking about molecular biology. And I'll just come to comment and be like, this thread is like really cringy. It's like not one of you has any sort of background
Right.
or any of this information.
yeah.
to be even considered valid enough to even fact check it.
Well, I have a friend.
This is
Well, fuck your
crazy.
friend.
And
Yeah.
this is like millions of like hundreds of hours of time and emotions put into it, and it's all garbage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's all garbage. It's insane.
The
People
one
are
that
like, fucking so stupid.
the one that made me laugh today, I saw the comment. There was this like YouTube video. It's like this Asian girl playing piano. I'm like, oh, the piano's fantastic. And I saw the first comment was just like this one guy that's like super greasy, like, oh man, I fucking love Asian women. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta see the responses to this shit. And the responses weren't what and the responses weren't what I was expecting at all. But the one that I was dying laughing at is like, okay, so first guy makes that comment, which is kind of a greasy comment, but sure. But the guy underneath it, he's like, "Yeah, totally, man. I understand. I'm married to one, and I would not I would not marry another race. It's not racism. I just I love her
whole
so much."
conversation is fucking cringy and retarded already.
But the thing that
What are
killed
these
me,
guys even talking about?
yeah, the part that I was dying laughing at was like the first
Guy who dated an Asian gonna pop in here.
Yeah, but the first guy that made the whole I like Asian women comment, he responds to the second guy going, "Who the fuck asked you, bro? Who gives a flying fuck? Does anyone like? Is anyone here going to respond with, oh, I care about your comment? Get the fuck out of here with that shit." I'm like, what the fuck? Your primary comment is the most asinine comment out there, and you're giving him shit for responding to your bullshit comment? Like, come on.
These new videos I'm watching, motivational videos, and they've got like I'm fully on this kick of like I care what everyone thinks of me and what I'm doing, but I don't give a fuck what you think at all.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's Gary Vee that I watch, and he's like, I don't care if it's Joe Blow 420 on the internet that says whatever you're doing is absolute shit, or if it's your mother telling you that it's like, I don't fucking give a fuck what my mom thinks.
Well, think about that.
Like my art, or like don't take me wrong. I don't know how to explain it like he does, because he's a speaker. But it's like I do care what my mom thinks about me, and like in a relationship. But like in context of like what I do with myself and how I put myself out there in art and whatever I want to do. I don't fucking care. It's insane to me now. I'm so like I've flipped as a human being. It's like almost funny. It's like even some of my peers. It's like I know what I'm doing and I'm doing a thing. And it's like I care what you think, but to a certain point. To a certain point, because I actually just don't.
Well, and that's the thing.
Just do, it's so freeing.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. I always took it as like the opinion of my friends. They're like they're like guardrails on the road. Like I'm gonna drive wherever the fuck I want to, but if I get into a fucky situation on a tight corner, they got my back. But I'm still driving the fucking car, and I will turn that fucking car around if you're being a prick to me.
Just do it. It doesn't matter what me or anybody fucking says. You should listen to me though. I'm pretty smart. But
well, sure. But
I mean, from my perspective, I'm creating this entire universe through my consciousness. So you are a fucking reflection of me. So do as I tell you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what that whole like spiritual side of things. Like I get like all fucked up on shrooms, and then I watch.
That's my religion.
Fantastic.
That's my religion.
And it's like
I think my eyeballs and the light refractions are
the universe.
I'm creating all of this, all of it.
The big one I like to look at. Have you seen the documentary that's on Netflix? Fantastic Fungi or Fungi?
And China, I don't think it's not there right now unless I go there.
Wait, what?
It exists in some sort of realm, but like I'm on the Jim Carrey thing. You know what I mean? Like it's there, but I'm not looking at it. Right, it exists in some sort of realm, but like I believe it's there, but I don't believe it's there.
The one
that's my spiritual thing. I believe our retinas create everything due to light refractions, and we don't understand anything past that.
Well, yeah, and like the way I've been kind of like the guy I'm researching.
We figured out that math works. That's it. Sorry.
Well,
that's it. 2 + 2 is 4. That's all we figured out, dude.
Yeah, but the guy that I'm looking at right now is that like we are. Every single one of us, and he's kind of got like this proof of it or whatever, we're simply just energy. We are electricity that exists, and our bodies is just like a shell that keeps that electricity going. But we still have this fantastic connection to people. We still have this amazing connection to one another. And to the point where like people don't understand that if we are all just one big ball of energy keeping the earth going, we are technically the same person. We are the same energy, just having a different experience. Same people,
100%,
different experience.
100%, yeah.
And so
I believe that to be the that's like the specifics of it. But in the big picture, I do believe that like it's hard to explain. It's really weird because the contradictions start to happen, right? With certain spiritual ideas and then other ones like because I do believe that I'm making it.
Right.
Like my entity. I don't believe I'm connecting with another entity. I think there's one entity.
Right.
That's it.
But
I
that's the
think it's
thing.
me.
But yeah, that's the thing though. If you think that one entity is you, then that typically, which I mean, should mean that everything else is you as
I
well.
don't take that. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. You
Yeah.
are me and I am you.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%, bro.
So that's
And
why
it
you.
goes both ways. It
Yeah.
goes both ways. So you do make, yeah, yeah. So
Mm.
it is the same thing. I get
So
that
that's
now. It is.
so it's not
But
like
it's
this.
like
This is not this like socialist mumbo
I like
jumbo as if
my,
everyone
I
should make
like
the
my,
same money. It's just a simple matter of just treat each other with some fucking respect because we're the same fucking people going through the same experience. We're all just trying to be happy at the end of the day or whatever it is that we're trying to get.
you were the same thing. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
That's why we all wake up in the same thing. We're all the same person. That's why we all open our eyes, and China is still fucking there. And
Yeah.
it's not some weird upside down prism box that
Yeah.
exploded or some weird shit. Like, it's consciousness is the same thing every day. That's the proof that we're all the same.
Yeah.
It's so simple.
And so what makes
But
us
I
kind of
like,
different from like each body core is that we're all just the same electricity, but over the years of being alive, we develop our perceptions and in our understanding
and I
basis
think
of
the
what we've seen.
closest thing we have to God is Jim Carrey because he figured it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my thing.
I love that guy so much.
Yeah.
What,
No,
the
he's.
look in his eyes is like, you know something. You
Yeah.
are on it.
Well, and
Like,
that's the
he's
thing.
so truly free.
When
And
everyone's
he's
saying like
not.
he's so weird, he's so bizarre now. I mean, you're only
He's
playing.
not.
He's only weird and bizarre because he's not playing the Hollywood game anymore. He's just playing his own game. He's figured out his own shit, and he loves his own shit, and I'm all
He's a
for
part
it.
of the universe. He's a
Oh,
part of the
absolutely is.
universe. He's
Yeah, yeah.
Hollywood. He doesn't give a fuck about what city. What he's a part of the universe. He's like,
So,
it's
yeah.
so cool, man.
So when
I'm
he goes
so
to a
into
fashion
it.
show, when he goes to a fashion show and says none of this matters, oh, don't you think like models are
I
influencers?
know.
No, this is the most insulting thing to say that. And
But
everyone's like,
it's
oh my god,
not.
Jim Carrey's
They
gone
don't
mad.
get
No,
it.
he's not. He's figured it out. Everyone else is mad.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone else is mad, man. Everyone else is. It's crazy because not many people get it. You get it. I can tell. So like when he and there was a time in my life 10 years ago or whenever he first started being like that, I was like, whoa, this guy's nuts.
Yeah,
But because from my perspective then, from my perspective now,
yeah,
I literally he's speaking plain English to me.
right. Well, and that's the thing too.
Everything he says is plain English.
Like you said, how you were worried. I was scared during those eras. Like, ooh, this smells like early stages of a potential suicide. Not because he's miserable or depressed, but because he's gonna reach a level where he's just like, I've reached the pinnacle of everything. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good night, everyone.
Well, for me, it was just like like from my perspective, he sounded like someone who wasn't making sense, and now he
Right.
sounds like he's the only one
Right,
making
right.
sense.
Well, and that's the thing. Like,
And I
who
believe
was,
he's right. I believe he's right. I don't
yeah,
believe the fucking billion wacko
yeah,
Christians and Catholics that convince themselves of something for monetary gain.
right.
I think what Jim has is by far, and there's many people with the same view.
Mm-hmm.
That's the closest thing we have.
Yeah, yeah.
By far the closest thing we have.
Well, and like another thing, like a big change that I had when the ex broke up with me, and that kind of like crushed me, and I like reassessed a few things. Was this whole concept of like there's bad and good in your life, right? The yin and yang, chaos and harmony. And my thing was like growing up white, a white family, parents that like stayed together. I had
Yeah.
the ideal life growing up. And anytime I try to think about what I could
You don't
complain
even
about,
have to blanket it with ideal, but what you had was opportunity of privilege.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Opportunity for privilege,
Yeah,
or just you just had it. But
and
it was
even
like
like
it's like it
yeah,
doesn't need
sorry.
to be ideal, but it was just like you got things like your mom didn't make you try crack when you were 10, so you didn't become a drug dealer like a
That's
friend
true.
that I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we didn't
Like,
have a lot of money,
of
and I always
course,
thought that
there's
was terrible. That was the worst thing ever. We didn't have a lot of money, but then you hear about
same with
these
my family.
people, yeah, but you hear about these like that lady that escaped from North Korea, being a 6-year-old child, seeing dead people on the ground with rats eating their eyes out, and that's normalized for a 6-year-old. They're like, oh fuck. So my parents not having a lot of money that I could buy a soda after a soccer game, that's not the end of the goddamn world.
Yeah, especially when like 3 days later you just get a soda.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah,
you just get less soda than the other kid, and that's
yeah,
based on like some sort of fucking soda rate.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like kids are fucking horrible.
Yeah. But what ended up happening to me, and this big thing that I had to look at in myself, was that because my entire life has been harmony, I've always been like this golden retriever, where just like life has just been rainbows and sunshine. That whenever I faced any kind of adversity or any kind of like problem that I should do, instead of facing the problem, I would smoke weed and play video games. It's like, it'll figure itself out. And that became a problem because like 30 years later of that, it's like, man, I do not know how to overcome problems. Or if I face a problem, I get fucking sweaty as shit. Or even playing like shit like this. I hear footsteps behind me, my palms instantly go sweaty, and I fucking fire at the ceiling because I'm just like spazzing out because
Yeah.
I'm so on that groove of just being rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah. For sure.
But you have someone like David Goggins, the world's baddest motherfucker. That guy overcame adversity. Now the guy's a millionaire because the guy jogs for 160 kilometers for no fucking reason. The entire time yelling, "Get hard!"
Oh, what was I gonna send you earlier? Oh, we were talking about fucking stupid people, how crazy people are, stupid people are.
Oh,
My
man.
favorite, number one. Hold on, let me see. This, because I think comedy is this also weird, like biological thing that is no one ever talks about, how we make each other laugh and like flood dopamine all over the world all the time. This fucking cartoon I think is one of the greatest things ever created because it's a joke, but it's also a joke about like here and us, and that it's not great.
It's not ideal.
This just tells me this is the best kind. I gotta find a better version of it. Hold on, it's not gonna all blur, but this is just everything to me.
While you're trying to find
it, here it is. Here it is.
By chance, man, have you seen the Pixar movie Soul?
No, I haven't watched it yet. That's weird, eh?
I know, like it's it's Pixar, it's kids filming like that, but I think, man,
love
honestly,
Pixar shit.
Okay, cool. I think, man, you being the musician like that and trying to figure it all out, watch Soul, man. That movie, great movie, definitely good for the whole family to watch. But seriously, man, the themes and what they talk about is way more adult. It hides well for children for sure, but like the whole there's like this one whole part where like the guy finally gets his big breaks. Like the guy fought through limbo, heaven, hell, all that shit, got his big break, wanted to be a jazz pianist, had his moment, and then at the end of it, he's like, that wasn't as great as I wanted it to be. And that's when you realize like just like life is like that constant pursuit of just finding fulfillment. It's not like you got it and then boom, I nailed the finish line. We're all good here.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. I actually had a really nice conversation yesterday. My neighbor, I saw that last year at the window there that they had a bunch of weed plants, and I also noticed that the wife had the bandana on. I'm like, oh, the poor thing, she's going through chemo right now. And I just saw her this week. She looks fantastic, healthy as hell. I never chatted with her yet. First time I chatted with her, she's like, I'm healthy, I'm good, I'm all cleared up. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Like, and then I'm trimming my weed plants. I'm like, seriously though, like, would you like some? And she's just like, oh no, my husband, he grew a shitload of it last year. I'm like, yeah, I saw. It's like he still has some. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, oh, so like you didn't have any? And he's like, no, I hate the stuff. I started laughing like, you went through like chemo treatment without any marijuana? She's like, no, he gave me like these like pill capsules that had like a high CBD.
You're supposed to eat it because I guess it starts with glaucoma too. I guess you need really high levels of. You really need the high levels of a certain something that's in the plant, so you need to eat it.
Right.
You gotta just pound it.
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to smoke like glaucoma, especially cancer. A lot of people do smoke it because it's like, who the fuck can take an edible every day? I like edibles if I want to think I'm gonna go insane for 5 hours, and then just kind of go insane and kind of go to sleep and kind of be comfy.
You know an edible.
Why do I want to do that?
You know an edible releases more hallucinogens, right?
Yeah.
So
It's not even just THC. It turns into a whole THB.
Yeah. When your liver breaks it down, instead of being inhaled, it releases an actual hallucinogen. So your liver gives you a hallucinogen. Yeah.
So that cartoon. That's everything. That's my spiritual belief. That's my Bible.
Okay, let's see.
I don't know if you can see what it says. It's small. It's
here we
small.
go. Yeah, I can zoom in. You know what we need to do? We need to get the fuck out of here.
You know what we need to do? We need to get the fuck out of here. That's what we need to do.
Man, that sounds like you. I feel like we've heard that a million times with Elijah when we were like 17. Oh man, what fuck? Oh fuck,
Looking
what do we
up, and
do?
they're looking up because we hung Jesus, and they're
Yeah,
looking up, and they're like, you know what we need to do? We need to get the fuck out of here. That's what we need to do.
I'm gonna see if I
And that
save.
is just like, that makes, I don't know, that has so many levels to it for me. It's just like explains everything. It explains the planet, people. It's just like nobody wants this. It's a
Yeah.
dump. We're crazy. I can tell. I can tell. But based on how bacteria works, if you zoom out, we look like a bad one.
Okay, yeah, that was another conversation I was gonna have. How do you? I don't know. I'm not sure if this is just me, but like whenever I'm in a plane and I look down at the city, I'm just like, holy shit! Roads are just the world's blood vessels. And the best part about it, we made the fucking lights on our cars red and white, like the goddamn blood vessels. And so
Right,
you're looking at
yeah.
and you're looking at these roads like this is just the veins of the world moving us humans, which are like the blood cells that are just getting the functions done on top of the world. And then the ex looked at me. He's like, are we the blood or are we the virus? I'm like, fuck, we're the virus. You're right.
I
And
think that. Do you know what I think? I'm on the same thing a little bit, but
uh,
it's a lot bigger. I have this thought of it's somewhere in like the comparison to that the Earth, our whole Earth is one cell,
yep,
one
exactly.
tiny cell, and
Yep,
it has. So we're like life. Oh, it's so grand.
yeah,
It's so great, right? Life
yeah,
is
yeah.
beautiful,
We
isn't
are the
it?
middle of the
From what? So
universe.
listen. From what perspective? Our
Yeah,
perspective. So
yeah.
what are we actually? The
Nothing.
fucking cell's
Yeah,
sick. Whatever
yeah,
it is sick.
yeah,
It's alive, but
yeah.
we're on it.
Yep.
So like life is good. We're not. We're making the cell sick, and we're
Yep.
ruining this
The-
possibly
We
for
are.
some. So that's where
We're
I
a
think we
cancer on
don't
the
know
cell.
what it is. So
Yeah,
whatever affect us going away and this planet going away and then
yeah,
our solar system changing over a long period of time, whatever
yeah,
comes after that, whatever effect that has,
yeah, yeah.
that's what we don't know what the fuck.
Well, and
I
that's
don't know what
yeah,
dimension that's in,
yeah.
but nonetheless, I think we're a vital part of a larger system.
Oh, for sure.
And
Yeah.
we kind of just look like we're a few rotten worms on a
Sure.
once perfect apple.
Well, I mean, you look at our blood cells and you zoom in on them, and you can see cells doing all kinds of crazy shit and eating each other and getting one's getting bigger and one's dominant, one's strong. And then we need to take drugs so we can kind of tip the scales of what's going on with our cells. And so, like, how is it that we don't understand that our cells are the same thing as us? And whenever we introduce drugs into our body, that's just like some sort of god fucking with us. Like, how do we
There's a
not know?
scale.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a scale.
Yeah.
I don't know what the scale is, but there's a scale. It's to scale.
Oh no,
That's what I
the
believe.
scale is
Yeah. If
infinite
there's,
beyond anything we can comprehend. Like,
yeah, I think
like
we found the bottom of it.
well, like if we've seen like
I think we found the small. I think we went to the smallest. The big. I
yeah,
think what we don't see is the rest. I think we're on the bottom. So you know how
yeah,
we see microscopic things, we can
yeah,
go all the way down to molecules, and because math is absolute, and we found that beautiful thing,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is great. That we were able to do that. However that
Mm-hmm.
happened, because I don't know math history
All
or
right.
care. I just know we did. Yay! Let's move on.
Yeah,
But it's like because we did that, I think we're. This is my theory that we
yeah. Mm,
found we were able to look at the smallest
yeah.
to that scale,
Right.
but I think it goes so fucking big
Right.
because like that expansion that we
Yeah.
think is expansion growing is I think just like it just looks like expansion to us
See.
because it's so fucking far away.
Yeah.
That's where the barrier is to the rest of the scale.
Well, when you
That's my
realize that
theory
with our
of
eyes
whatever
alone,
system we're a part of.
yeah. But like with us, for our eyes alone, we can see maybe tens of stars, but there are literally millions
Yeah.
of it out there, and there's literally millions of galaxies out there. And so, how do we not know
Well,
that?
they're actually so far that it was the light also died. That light's just hitting us now, so it's
Oh
like
yeah,
that's how actually far away it is.
yeah. Well, that's a cool thing. You realize that a lot of those stars could potentially be dead galaxies. But yeah,
And
you're right.
our
The
math
light hasn't
machines
reached us yet.
feel expansion at the edge of the universe
Yeah.
and stuff, but that's probably just our limits and an illusion. And it's probably we're just not gonna know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was a what was it? I think it's like the 12th century. There was this famous. Oh, fuck, I really should remember his name because he's quite an impressive dude. But there was this Italian archivist that worked for the Vatican, and he was like, he's in charge of like organizing all the books in like the forbidden articles, and he would read a few of them. And the one he found, this one philosopher had this like damaging to the Christian belief concept of, is like, theoretically, if you had an angel that could shoot an arrow infinitely, You have two options. He stands upon a wall and he shoots that arrow, and either that arrow hits another wall or it continues into infinity. But here's the thing: if that arrow hits a wall, what's to stop the angel from flying to that wall eventually, getting upon that wall, and continuing to fire that arrow farther? And at this point, Christianity was just like, how dare you? Only God is infinite. We exist within this one little realm, and that
They
is
missed
it.
the third option.
What's
They
that?
all missed the third option.
What's
It
that?
hits him in the back.
Oh, it goes around? Yeah,
It
yeah,
hits him in the back.
yeah, yeah.
100% there's a third option. We don't know
Ah,
what
they
they
didn't know
are,
about
so that
physics
means
that
that
well.
there's options.
Yeah. Oh, and
There's a
that's
third option.
yeah, for sure. But then this
And
guy.
that's why
Yeah.
500 years ago we were
Yeah.
fucking retarded.
Oh, for sure. Well, and that's why they call it the Dark Ages. We had like, and that's why they had like the Dark Ages and the Renaissance.
The dim ages.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
God,
Dark
I just
Ages
think
because
people are so fucking much stupider than they think they
oh
are,
yeah.
myself included.
Well,
but
that's the thing,
the rest of them are
we-
much worse.
We had the Dark Ages because religion got power, and then religion, in order to retain that power, dumbed down society so no one questioned anything, no one thought about anything, because intellectual people see God and they question it. Intellectual people question everything. And
Do you
religion
know how
had a
I
very
view
different
all of that, which is weird? I find this weird. I view
religion is a
all of that.
business. The Bible's the greatest
No,
business plan ever
I
written.
view it as a bunch of large groups of biological beings walking
Yeah.
around, fucking just doing random shit. Most of it to perpetuate some sort of gain for
Yeah.
themselves, which
To maintain
usually
power.
causes some sort of. Yeah, but aside from that, it's actually
Yeah.
just their brains going like dopamine,
Right,
dopamine,
right.
dopamine.
Yeah.
The power, whatever you're talking about, is all made up. It's all an illusion of what's
Well,
in front of them. The rest of it is
yeah.
in their. All of it.
Yeah.
All of it is happening in their fucking brain and in their body.
Absolutely.
What it's outside is all fucking fake. The power, the castle, the whatever whatever they have over history and years. It doesn't matter because all of it happened in their brain and their body.
Yeah.
None of it actually happened inside. It all happened in their fucking brain.
Well, and that's the thing.
100%. So to me, I view it as a bunch of fucking ding-dongs doing a bunch of random fucking shit.
Right.
And they don't know what they're doing, and most of it is for personal gain because those zaps feel good.
Right.
That's it. That's it. That's what all of it is. It's fucking so stupid.
Yeah. You know what? Some
Like
people.
that's why I had a hard time in history classes because that's just like I
hate people.
I want to know the top. Once I know the timeline,
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck because this large group of fucking ding-dongs doing whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It's dumb, and they're not even conscious of what they are. So they're only acting on the illusions in front of them, and it's so boring to me.
Well,
You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, I got an interesting one for you from that one. There's like the saying that there's only six. I think it's six. There's only 6 stories out there, and every other story other than that is just another reiteration of that story. And the big one is like the hero's tale. And the best, the easy example to give to that one is Star Wars. The hero's tale is you have a person, he's given an arduous task, he initially fails, finds a mentor, gains enlightenment, and overcomes the problem. The tale happens to every single fucking hero story. And if you have a hero story where the hero wins in the beginning, that's not a fucking hero story, and no one gives a shit about the guy who always just wins. Like John Wick.
Not even a story.
John Wick, you had to kill his dog for anyone to give a shit about him killing everyone else. Other than that, he's just a serial killer. That's like, man, Keanu, fucking take it easy. And so the original story, the original hero story is like the story of Gilgamesh. There's like this Arabic king, 5,000 BC, and he left his power, his seat of power, and everything like that to explore the world to find immortality. Because he's like, I'm at the top of the hierarchy when it comes to humans. I have the castle, I have the money, I have the power, I have everything. I want this forever. I want to be immortal. So he went on this big journey to figure out how to become immortal. And the crazy shit is, he did figure out that immortality. He did become immortal. Why? He is the original motherfucking hero story. And to this day, 7,000 years later, people still know Gilgamesh's name.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that kind of goes to like the what you're saying about like these people trying to find this pursuit. That pursuit is just like you have one moment.
I just view everyone really, really biologically. It's really hard for me not to. I see them as a pumping veins. They have I agree with you're just a fucking the way light reflects into our retinas and the way that
Yeah.
our brain receives it, and we know that it creates these illusions and that they
Yeah.
differ in weird ways. It's just fake.
We're just a ball of
And
perceptions.
I think if you go into a computer program and drop it and just
Mhm.
leave the brain and the stems and the blood and you
Yeah.
watch them move around, they're only basing everything on the outside on what's happening on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the only thing that matters. Everything on the inside is just light refractions and fucking illusions, and I don't understand why,
Right.
because
Right.
no one's gonna tell me, because I don't know God.
Well, like look at like
And you know
the
what?
yeah.
Steven on Facebook from fucking La La Land isn't gonna
Yeah.
tell me, and so which is why I base my most of my opinions on whatever the smartest fucking dude is saying.
Right.
And then I go, he's also a human full of shit, and I don't think anybody knows what the fuck they're talking about
I still
when it
say
comes down to it.
right. Oh
I
no,
think
absolutely.
if God came down and listened to us, he'd be like, "You guys are fucking
You guys
so
fucked it all
stupid."
up. Yeah. Louis C.K. does a good joke about that. He's like, "Why do you guys work so we can get
That one,
money?"
yeah. What are you
Yeah.
doing? I put it on the ground. There's food on
Yeah.
the ground.
It's fucking group food everywhere. I want to go fast. Why do you need to go fast? Yeah. But yeah,
Shake his
no.
head and be like, "What do you? I don't understand a word these things are saying."
Yeah. But like look at like the Terminator kind of concept of like we build AI and eventually AI intelligence will realize that humans are basically their own worst enemies and so they decide to annihilate us for our own good. That's the concept of the Terminator
Yeah.
thing. But for me, I look at that, I'm like, yeah, those robots got figured out. Or even like
I think my theory's always been like the big picture stuff. We have no fucking clue.
no.
Zero clue. Like I
Oh,
think we're not even at a point 0.00001 close to the truth.
oh,
We have no
absolutely.
clue.
And we've
Whatever
had
that
X
bigger system
yeah.
is, we're to scale of, we're not. We don't even
Oh
know
yeah.
what the fuck, man. We're in so much la la land from
Yeah.
what is given to us in front of us from light refractions. It's an
Right.
illusion. We're just here in that, which is probably good because
Right.
whatever else is there, we don't know if it's good or bad. So I'll
Yeah.
take this.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
And that's it. I think that there's not much else to it because talking about the rest of it is just like in religion and all that stuff. It's just humans making stuff up
yeah.
due to dopamine and the way the brains work, and we've
Yeah.
proved it.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
that's
they're
my
just making it up
yeah. That's my
for
conversation with
personal
my
gain.
mom. Is just like
And
you
the
have this
personal gain is monetary and stuff, but the monetary, what's
yeah.
money for?
Yeah.
For things you like, and what are things like for? So for when you get a thing you like, you're like, ah, it's like a cocaine addiction. It's in your brain. It's all in your
Oh, yeah.
brain. It's all fake.
Well, yeah. Oh,
It's
yeah.
all
And when
fake.
that's the money is just a everything that's being conducted is just a way to have like the rich and the powerful
I
keep
don't see.
us
I don't know
organized.
what it is or why it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. I just know
Right.
it is,
Right.
and that's just what it is. It's not. There's no God. It's not
No.
fucking
No.
anything we've made up in our brains in our
Yeah.
little books. I think
Yeah.
that's absolutely asinine to think that we figured out the universe.
Yeah. Oh no.
And
Not at all.
that's insane. It's
Yeah.
insane for any human being to think that they fucking figured out the
Yeah.
universe.
Well,
It's
and
the
like
dumbest thing they've ever done. It puts them at the bottom of the barrel of intelligence. Very
absolutely.
bottom.
No.
To
And
assume you
yeah.
figured out the universe, you're
Yeah.
now missing
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane.
Oh, what's that line? Like the
I
wisest
can't even figure
person.
out Peterborough, dude.
Yeah. Well, no, the saying I had for the longest time is like the wisest person isn't the one with the most answers, it's the ones with the most questions.
That's why I think I'm wise, because I have no fucking clue. I have a lot of questions,
But you're
and I
op
have no idea.
but you're still the student. You're still like open to learning and trying to understand, and you don't just draw
100%.
you don't just draw a
I'm a little
conclusion.
bit less open to learning because
Right.
I do think we're full of shit.
Yeah.
Based on the dopamine,
Well,
based on the reason
it's
that
also
I do
where you
coke
get
and
your
I want to
learning.
do coke again. No,
Right.
it's based on the fact that we're so biological that I do cocaine and I want to do cocaine again.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
fact that my brain, if you test it, isn't that different to me eating a cookie or
Right.
to me running outside. If you
Yeah.
look at my brain to scale, it does the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it just means everything we're doing is for that. And it's so full of shit.
Yeah.
We're so full of shit. Every truth we think we figured out, we're so full of shit. I think math might be the only thing that is actually perfectly true. I think we
Yeah.
just convince ourselves all the time to make the brain go, wee.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's it.
look at the states. Back in like the 60s and 70s during the Cold War, while they're still competing with like Russia and other powers to be like the best, they were like, top 5 in education. Now they're 28th overall. And like it's not just because they were just dumbed down. They were purposely dumbed down because the powers that be, once they didn't need to inspire the people to say fuck you to Russia, then like when these people that used to like hate Russia, when there's no problems anymore, they turn inwards and they hate the government and they hate the rich. So what do?
Yeah.
You fucking dumb down the education system. You don't teach them about economics. You don't teach them about
Don't
investments.
teach them about anything.
You don't teach them how to
Don't teach them about
surpass the
anything,
rich.
correct.
Yeah, you don't teach them how to surpass the rich. Like rich parents teach their kids how to like build equity, build assets, but poor parents teach their kids how to have fun and enjoy their
And you know
lives.
what? Here's my thing with all of that. All of that exists
Yeah.
because every person on that ladder, all the way up from the top to the bottom, is doing everything because their brain goes, "Ooh, I like that."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
Everything is happening because
yeah.
of that. Every person that shits on a person to get ahead, every person that helps another person, every person that like it's all the same. That was good.
Yeah, yeah,
That was good.
yeah. I'm gonna do it again.
Dopamine.
Let me do it again.
Yeah, I'm
And,
gonna do it again.
and then that's when people become, I find, not the sole purpose to it, but when people start becoming depressed and lost and everything like that, it's because you've just triggered that dopamine so much that your body's like, okay, that's cool and all, but like, give me something else. And you're like, no, 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 let's stick with what
Yeah,
works.
and the fact that we know there's mass. Here's the thing. This sounds weird, probably, but it's a thought I have. It's the
Oh,
fact
yeah,
that there's mass things that I
yeah,
think
yeah,
is real. One of the only real things we figured out. So
yeah.
we've proved that we know there's huge things of mass that are millions of light years away. The fact that something even fucking exists over there, and
Yeah.
that like David putting some piece of paper into his thing in some fax room in some fucking city somewhere on this piece of shit fucking planet spinning around thinks that anything that he's doing matters
Yeah.
in any way whatsoever.
Right.
It's fucking insane to me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Insane.
Well,
But like,
even
are
the
you
whole
kidding me? There's a rock that's like 9 billion years away.
yeah.
That means this is so big that you don't fucking matter.
Or people like
And you don't know what you're talking about.
aliens don't exist.
Oh, but I figured.
There's no
That
way
makes me view religious
civilization.
people.
Yeah.
But that makes me view religious people like they're fucking ants. Like they have
Mhm.
the intelligence of like apples
Yeah.
because they think they figured the universe out, and that's the most insane thing I can think.
Well, and that's the thing.
That's the most ignorant thing I can think of.
Oh yeah. Well, even
Like
like,
what
why is it
it's
when
not,
like
it's everything.
yeah.
That's
Well,
that's saying that I know every single
yeah.
thing.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like every single church forever, ever wanted the highest roofs in their church, right? With all the exquisite art, because they wanted to like showcase this is how powerful we are. And then wherever the priest stands at the front, it's always on a bloody platform. He always has to be above. He always has to stand up there and talk down to the people. So you're right. It's always like this kind of communication that like my word is the law, and if you don't follow my law, then this is just like ungoverned anarchy, and you're a terrible person.
Yeah. The idea of any of the gods that we've made up in books is no different than whatever lies, whatever they told all the African Americans to make them get in the boats. It's
Right.
the same fucking thing. It's the
Well,
same lie.
yeah.
It's
Well, yeah.
blatant lies for dopamine gain.
Well, that's the thing. God is just the parent to your parents. Like,
Because after someone screws someone and gets rich for
yeah.
monetary gains, from all that dopamine, what do they do? What do they do with all that? They sit there and they just jerk off with their money.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They definitely close themselves out a lot of the time too. But like, I had
That's
that
the
conversation.
end result of all things. Of
Yeah.
all decisions and emotional reactions in relationships, the end result is I'm going to eat something nasty and I'm going to sit here and jerk off because I have all this money. That's all they do. That's what people do. They're still people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why
They're
Bezos is so skinny. He doesn't have any more hair. He
they're
just
just
jerked off all
gross
his
humans.
hair. Yeah.
They're just gross humans. They just
Yeah.
fucking screwed everybody to be extra gross and have a time with it.
Right. Well, I mean, like, one of the conversations I'm having a lot of friends nowadays is like, when people are trying to figure out what's wrong with them now, they have to like look at their childhood and kind of break down why do you react in this way
If
nowadays?
you're wondering what's wrong with you and you're in your 30s,
It's all
go
your
look at
childhood.
your moron parents.
Yeah. And so the one conversation I had
And
with a
even if
friend,
your parents aren't morons, yes, they are.
well, exactly. And that's the thing that you have to look at. Like, you will be so much more well adjusted and better off if you realize that your parents are fallible. They make mistakes. They
Yeah.
don't know what the fuck they're doing. They mean well for you. But, as a kid, I mean, at least for me, when I saw like my parents, like everything they did is like they mean well. They want the best for me. So I'm like, okay, so that is
That doesn't
clearly the
mean
best
anything,
option.
though. That's fucking,
Yeah.
that's just blanket terms for ignoring every important thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they mean well. Or we could talk about everything openly, which is
Oh, yeah.
like
Yeah.
the fact that I can assume that most of them, 99% of them, are pretty moronic in every
They're just
the way they
humans.
taught and raised their kids. You know
Yeah.
why I know that? Because of how extra moronic their parents were, and I
Yeah.
know that that's who raised them.
Yeah. 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 And that's what they ingrained
And
the right and
guess
wrong.
what? The chain
Yeah.
don't go up. It don't get better on the
Oh
way
no.
down. It gets worse and it
Yeah.
gets worse.
I mean, hell, like I
So the
said,
further back you go, the
Mhm.
worse you can assume.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I've spent the last like 15 years getting my mom used to. I mean, it's been like the last 5 or 10 years for her. She's like totally like, oh, I'm totally cool with it. But it took me like 15, almost 20 years for mom to get
Unless one of
like okay with like
sorry, but
eat
unless one
something
of your
meat.
parents can tell you that they broke the chain
Yeah,
of like or you're from an intellectual family already of people who understand like complicated concepts of emotionally
yeah,
and things and
yeah,
have a strong empathy. Unless you're already in that chain, you need to have a family member that broke it.
yeah. Well, and see, that's the
Like
interesting thing.
I'm being that family member in my chain right now because
Right.
there's nobody else that has the same ideals
Yeah.
and perceptions that I do in my family, so I'm breaking that
My record,
chain
man.
because they all run off of whatever they were taught by the last moron.
Right, right. Well, my proud thing, man. I'm the first Martin in Canada to own property.
Love it. That's
Yeah,
sick.
yeah. Like my dad. Yeah, my dad is from New Zealand,
That's
and
rad as
yeah,
fuck.
yeah. So the Gibson side, yeah, my parents still live in the family farm. But I'm the first Martin on my dad's side to own property in Canada.
That's rad.
Yeah, and
You know
like
what we should
that's
do?
uh,
Not to cut
burn
you
the
off
fucker
because
house
that's
down.
that's it. We should play PubG.
Oh fuck yeah, that's what we're doing, eh? I have a
Yeah,
bowl of
we've been
food
talking
in
for
my
like an
hand.
hour.
Yeah, I have a bowl of food. I've had one goddamn bite of this food. That's all I've ate all
I've been
goddamn day.
pacing around my kitchen. Well, it's not very often that people even understand what the fuck I'm even saying.
Yeah, man, it's a good time to have that conversation for sure.
Well, some people, I find it hard for people to understand abstract uh, ideas
Yeah. Well, it's just
yeah, just ideas,
right.
and not only it's hard to describe that, it's hard to describe how I'm convinced and think that one is probably the most correct one.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And by most correct, I mean that's just our limit of our
yeah.
perception, and it's the best way we should go and path of knowledge.
It
And
just
then
feels
it's
right.
probably not very far.
Well, I mean, and that's my thing.
But
I've always hated the sheeple, the people that just are agreeable and just do whatever they're told. It's like, do you not think
yeah, but you
critically for
can't use
yourself
that
enough?
word anymore. You can't use that word anymore.
What sheeple?
Anti-vaxxers took it. You can't. They think they call us sheeple now. I'm a sheep
Because you
because I
did?
have a vaccine.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck
yeah,
off.
yeah. You can't
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, you can't say
Yeah.
sheeple because you're an anti-vaxxer as soon as you call somebody a sheep. It's insane. They took the whole thing. We
Yeah.
used to call them all sheep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I call them peasants.
Oh,
I
fuck.
literally I made the change.
Yeah.
You have to call them peasants now, and they
Yeah.
wonder why I say a derogatory term. It's because they took sheep.
Yeah. 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 You take all the great words from us.
They
Yeah.
took sheep.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Gay
the
took the
thing.
rainbow.
and, and that's the thing. Like, I was
I
never an
took it
ass.
back.
We got to take the name Bruce back from the gay community. They've had Bruce
No,
for
it's
too
funny
long.
as how for years it's like, oh, the gays took the rainbow. It's like, oh, we're taking it back. It's like, actually, it just turns out you're not homophobic.
Yeah.
Put a rainbow on anything, you idiot.
Yeah. You can still use it. Well, and that's the
It's
funny
just
thing.
your moronic perception.
I had some like
And
really
you
great
might be gay because when you see a rainbow and you think of dick sucking, you're the gay one.
That's you thinking about sucking dick, right? Just so you know.
I think like must have just rained.
Yeah.
They're like dicks and cocks and dicks. Like
Oh
how
man,
gay is that?
that just makes me think of
That's
like
a good stand-up bit. That's
yeah,
a good
yeah.
stand-up bit.
This like reminds me of like Call of Duty, like the Cold War one, where he just like you show him like a series of numbers, and he's like, "Oh, kill the Russians." It's just the same thing. Where it's like, you see a rainbow, I gotta suck a dick because a rainbow. It's like the gay
It's
community didn't do that
insane.
to you. You did that to you.
And then they're like, "Oh, you're gay." It's like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? It's like I put a rainbow on my jacket, and you're thinking about fucking guys in the ass.
That makes me.
How am I the gay one?
Oh, that's funny.
Jesus
Oh,
Christ!
shit. I
And if
know,
you think
funny.
gay people stole the rainbow, it's just because you want to chase them.
At that point, it's not
You're
chasing;
it.
just that's frolic. I thought it was funny though because like my uncle in Florida, he
Okay, hold on.
yeah
Can you give me 30 seconds?
yeah.
Just 30 seconds. 1 second.
Hey, buddy.
But like, oh, I just thought of the stupidest thing, bro. I'm just too stoned. Where's my coffee? Dad, where'd you go? Did the comms quit on us? Yeah, they did.
No. That's
Would
me.
you?
That's me. I,
Oh, okay,
I was
good.
full blown talking to you. I had it muted. I forgot.
Oh shit. Let's
Yeah,
play
no.
though. Want to play around?
Yeah, let's do it. No, oh, actually, yeah. I'm gonna stop the stream. Oh shit.